CWTFB Radio. I am your host, Charlie Machine. This is episode 133, I believe. 133. It's a special occasion. If you're looking at, to my right now, this is not Cash. This is not Chanel Shantae. We got a special guest in the building. She's going to actually help me out with this episode. She's going to co-host. She's going to be my wingman for today. This is Gina. Do you like introduce yourself as like your whole name?
My name is Gina.
Okay.
I'm the podcast owner of Hidden Gems with Gina.
Yeah. But
we're gonna leave it there because it's not my show.
Okay. Hidden Gems with Gina, one of the newest podcasts on the scene right now, man. It's funny. I had a conversation with Gina, and I just told her she need to fucking work harder. Did you feel like I came for you?
A little bit.
Yeah? How? Yeah. I was just being honest.
Of course. And honesty and critique is very important, especially in an industry like this one. I guess I just wasn't expecting it because we've never had a face-to-face conversation until recently.
Right.
So it was like, oh, damn.
And you probably don't get a lot of men that tell you no. Right. Yeah. I'm Charlie Machine. Nice to meet you.
No, but I understood where you were coming from, and I'm not the type of person that takes, what people say the wrong way or fights it.
Right.
If it's not for me at that moment, it's not for me. And if I need to grow to get that spot, I'm going to grow and get that spot regardless.
That's right. I respect it, man. But so tell us a little bit about your podcast. Like, what exactly is it that you plan to accomplish with your platform?
I need my platform. My platform is, I don't need it to be. My platform is a space where when you come to an interview, a lot of people haven't seen it, the first episode, but it's
you had
couch.
Like 18 niggas on one episode at first joint.
That was a holiday special. So during the holidays, I want to film a bigger group of people where we're just bullshitting.
How you start with a special?
Listen, because I'm lit like that, because I'm ill like that, I can do that.
Like, nigga, we don't even know what the regular look like. And you talk about a special, I'm gonna start with a special.
Listen, we're sitting on the couch, whoever it may be. It could be a local artist, could be a bigger artist, it can be entrepreneurs, whoever is sitting next to me. I want you to feel like we're chilling at the crib. We're just having a regular conversation, and there just so happens to be a camera that we're not really paying attention to.
Right.
Our conversation is lit. We're laughing. We're bullshitting, and we're having a good ass time drinking like we're just friends.
Right. I like that.
I don't want it to be the regular podcast where you're asking the artist and whoever, when are you dropping next week? And what do you know? I want to get to
Are you coming for me right now, my nigga?
No,
you throwing shots, nigga?
You have a music platform.
Right.
It's what you do. I want mine to be
damn, Gina,
a little bit different than the music.
All right.
We're getting to know the artist on a personal level.
Okay. So you was a part of another podcast prior. What happened with that?
My teammate, one of the I guess hosts, wasn't really feeling me the way I was doing a little too much for his podcast. And
what does that mean?
We were bumping heads. For him, the quote was, "This isn't the Otis show. They're not here to see her." It was his podcast. He's not wrong, but if I'm making it better.
The what show? No. You saying he said it wasn't the what show?
The Otis show.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So they felt threatened.
Offline.
They felt like they was threatened by you.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Essentially, because you got someone who came onto your podcast. You asked me to be on your podcast, putting together calendars, hitting up people, doing all the extra shit that is behind the scenes, that you're not willing to do. And then on top of that, participate in an episode, make it look good, be the pretty face of the episode because it's just guys, and you get mad.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
So, yeah, I mean, so naturally you got up out of there.
Of course.
Right.
I'm not going to argue with no grown-ass man.
Right. That's fair.
You're not going to sit here and call me all types of bitches because I'm helping you in your show.
Oh, wow.
Nah.
That's wild.
It is.
Arguing with women is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
As a grown man. It's not respectable.
It's not.
Yeah, well, shame on them.
It is what it is. I mean, shit. I left that building the day we was filming a podcast that same day. I had gotten into an accident and still went to the podcast.
Because you were a gangster.
Because I'm like that. Especially when I like what I'm doing, I'm going to put my best foot forward all the time.
As you should.
I went in after getting into a car accident, which was also my fault because I was rushing to get to the podcast to argue with somebody as we're sitting with an artist.
Wow.
To argue with him. I was like, are you really doing this right now?
How'd the Dusty Locane interview happen?
I hit Dusty Locane up.
So it was you?
That was me.
Okay. So you were their strongest asset and they let you go.
Basically.
These niggas ain't good at business. That's terrible.
That's not their strong suit, apparently.
Fucking pussies. Anyway, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
I'm glad you decided to do this with me tonight.
Thank you.
I think this will be good for everyone involved. I think, I seen that you interviewed D Money the other day.
I did.
And that episode's dropping when?
Wednesday.
That's the 20th, I believe. Something like that. Whatever.
21st? I don't know.
Right, today's the 15th, so yeah, the 20th. So that'll be the 20th. Okay, that's great. This episode's not going to air until the 25th, so that'll actually be out before everybody sees this.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that because D Money is one of my favorite characters. Right, that's my boy, but he go crazy. Like he talk a lot of shit. He's very opinionated.
Oh yes.
He's very he has a very strong opinion, like always, about anything. Yes. Right? You can argue with this nigga about the weather. Yeah, I mean, he's just good like that. But he's also super talented. He is. And he's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. So I can't imagine. I can't wait to hear what that conversation is.
It was a dope conversation. We had, and I told you, we had some technical difficulties at the beginning. And when we got past those technical difficulties, sitting down with him and talking about all sorts of shit, I was having a good time. We was laughing the whole time, straight bullshitting.
That's great.
Exactly what I want it to be.
That's great. I'm happy for that, man. So I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
He was getting a lot of good feedback on his live.
Yeah, I see he went live. I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it organically. I wanted to see it for the first time. I seen that.
Thank you for that.
I was like, you know what? Nah, nigga, this is not how I want it packaged. I want to see the whole episode. The way it was intended to be viewed. So yeah, that's my thing.
The live did get a lot of reactions, a lot of little fire emojis. So people was liking the questions and they were liking his answers even more. So I'm sure it's gonna be a good episode.
All right, I can't wait, man. Don't disappoint me.
I'll try not to.
I mean, because we rooting for you. So if
thank you.
If you flop, we look crazy.
Nah, we ain't flopping on this side.
All right. But now that we got you, with your roots.
They're growing.
Planted here right now. I want to bring in the guests, man, because I'm excited about who we have here tonight. This is somebody who's implanted himself within the industry within the last few years. He's from here. He's a Mass native. He's not from Boston, but he's right outside of Boston. From outside of Boston. Started his career as a photographer. Started shaking the right hands. Entered some rooms, and next thing you know, he's his own self-made man. He has his own company called Untitled Export. He does a lot of different things. I'm going to have him tell his story, man. So I need anybody and everybody to put your hands together and give your undivided attention to my man, Logan Forbes. What's good, baby?
Appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody and spread some knowledge and, get to know each other better and just have an open conversation.
Perfect, bro. I'm excited, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. It's I'm in New Jersey now. I'm from North Attleboro, but I'm in Fairfield, New Jersey. That's where I'm set up. So we came out here for the weekend, obviously, to do the event with you guys. Yes. We spoke. I had a great time doing that. I brought my team out as well. 6 of them, and we had a great time networking. And I'm just excited to be here.
That's good, man. That's good. But for the people who don't know who Logan Forbes is, man, or Untitled Export, man, give us a quick rundown about who you are, what you do, what you represent.
Absolutely. So, like you said, Logan Forbes, I'm the CEO and founder of Untitled Export Management and Records. And basically what that is a full-service digital marketing agency, primarily in the music industry, although we've been branching out into business marketing and business services as well. I started off, you want the full from the start to the finish?
Go ahead, man. We here.
Let's do it. Time. So I started off in North Attleboro. Like I said, I just went to high school. Normal high school experience. Nothing too extraordinary. I didn't do any sports. I had one sports experience, and it's funny because I'm getting back into golf now because you probably know a lot of, shaking hands on the golf course there's a lot of millions of dollars that are, negotiated there.
Right,
So
right.
if I need to go out there, if somebody invites me to go golf, I need to at least be able to pick up the club and, get busy. So
Know what the fuck you doing?
right. Well, my
Or
only
at least
golf,
act like it.
right.
Yeah.
My only golf experience was when I was probably like, well, I don't know, whatever age you are when you're a freshman in high school. I tried
14.
Tried out for the golf team, launched the club into the driving range.
Oh, nice.
Turned around, walked out.
That's what's up. Who
That
you
was
hit?
that was the end of high school sports.
Say that again. So you played golf in high school.
I tried. Tryouts, that was.
What school was that?
North Attleboro High School.
That's some real Saxon shit, bro.
Yeah, it's
Like,
definitely...
There's a lot of schools that have. My school actually had.
What school was that?
I went to Taunton High for like a year.
Right, Saxon shit. What you talking
no,
about?
they...
No, Taunton is
wait,
not
wait.
white.
Taunton is not
no,
white.
Taunton's not an
Taunton
area
is
you want
not
to be in.
white.
No?
Taunton
No.
is hood as hell.
Taunton's not Mattapan, but it's not
Yeah.
North Attleboro.
All right, well,
It's
all right,
not,
I
it's
guess.
not.
I guess you're right.
Even
All right,
Attleboro
so
and
I
North
stand
Attleboro were
corrected.
different.
But we don't, I ain't never heard of no BPS schools having golf.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it was. I don't know how. I that was, like I said, the end of the sports career. So once I launched the club, I kind of turned around and never looked back.
So you don't have a single athletic bone in your body?
No,
Okay.
no. I can get by on a tennis court. I can get by with
Tennis?
a basketball.
Okay.
I can get by with a football. Not playing, just catching.
Right.
I can baseball. I don't think I could get by
Matter of
with
fact,
that.
you look like my kicker in high school, man.
Really?
We had a white kicker. That was great.
I
That was
always used to get
excellent.
recruited to try and play, but
Yeah.
they were a good team. We had Anthony Sherman. I don't know if you know who that is, but he plays for 49ers, I think. One of
Okay.
those teams out there.
That's dope.
And yeah, he's the only person besides me that came from that school that does anything like in the public eye. Everybody
Amazing,
else
yeah.
is no. There's
all
people that
boring
have gone on
and
to
They probably
do,
work for Google and
doctor,
shit.
lawyer,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's nobody that's been anywhere in the entertainment field except for Rapta, who graduated a year before me.
Okay.
And he makes music as well. He's in Los Angeles right now. He works on like a Web3 project,
dope.
which is fire because he's trying to build like an ecosystem where you can network with professional individuals in the metaverse.
Yeah.
And obviously you probably saw the hit that, crypto and all that took. But
course.
for me, it's like crypto is a technology more than anything. And Ethereum is not just a currency, it's a software. So
Yes.
maybe those of you that don't know this, maybe some of you do. Ethereum is basically, it's like the biggest thing with cryptocurrency is that if we were in a hypothetical situation, which I'd love to be in, that I had to send you $1 million or you had to send me $1 million,
I'd like
right,
the first part.
right now, right at 10:25 p.m., it's impossible.
Right.
But if I had $1 million in Bitcoin, I could do that right now. And on this interview, I could send you $1 million. No
it.
processing fees, no anything. If I had it, we would test it. But
I wouldn't send it back.
I liquidated actually all my cryptocurrencies just to weather the storm out. But no, Ethereum is a great technology. But that was a real tangent off the golf.
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so North
Yeah.
Attleboro golf team. That was the end of that. So that was high school. Wrap that up. I ended up going to college at Nichols College in Dudley, Massachusetts. Pretty much just because my parents wanted me to.
All right. It's
They
typically
had
the
the
story.
college fairs. Honestly, like for the position that I play now, I think kind of, I don't want to say socially awkward. Like I could get by in a conversation, but I would never like volunteer myself in front of a room of people. I would never put myself in front of the public eye, like to the point where the reason why I went to Nichols College is because that's the college booth that nobody was standing at. You know what I mean? So I just went over there.
Wow.
Because I just wanted an easy conversation.
Wow.
I applied to one school.
Wow.
Got in.
Wow.
Accounting program. 6 months.
Wow.
Met one of my first and most important business connections. One of my best friends, named Jeremy. Him and I pretty much built this massive photo empire. And to this day, me and him are the only people that I know in the entire photography scene that successfully got into, I would probably say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 events as a group of two. Like if I don't go in, he doesn't go in. If he doesn't go in, I don't go in. And we did that for years to the point, even like the venue that I started off at. So the photography college, actually, let me take a step back. So I'm in college. Everything's normal. No sports or anything. Just going through accounting program. Absolutely hated it. You know what I mean? I didn't have a problem getting up in the morning. That's never been me. But just a problem that I have is like, for example, I always think about things in such a weird way. So when I think about an accounting professor at a school like Nichols College, which is a great school, they have great people that go there, great people that teach there. But like when the accountant professor is a failed accountant, why is he or her qualified to teach me accounting?
Broke ass
I
nigga.
mean, that's like in the military. You got doctors who get kicked out of practice,
Right?
But they get hired for the military.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were
It's
in the
kinda like-
military.
Yeah, it was.
What branch?
Oh, really?
The Marine Corps.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did 8 years.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
But all our doctors were literally, you can search their names and they were list of like
License
shit that they were
revoked.
doing wrong, why they got their licenses pulled.
That's wild.
Yeah. No, I think that that was my problem with college, is that I just couldn't get past the fact that the people teaching me were admittedly saying that they got out of the industry in a not so positive way. And a lot of them play like they love to teach, but they're always rude as hell. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you love to teach, but you're rude every time somebody asks you to do a teacher task?
You know, I got a funny
mean?
story about college. So I didn't go to college. I went to,
DCU.
I went to
to Crib University.
No. I went to, community college, right?
Right.
And it was a 2-year auto tech program at a well-known community college. In
So
this
you did
area,
go to college.
right? I didn't finish. I ended up catching
Neither
the
did I.
case, and a lot of shit happened after that, right? But either way, my first semester, I sized up one of my professors, like one of my teachers. Like, I saw where he was driving. I saw how he carried himself. And it was philosophy, right? So I'm like, and I actually enjoyed that class.
Yeah.
But because it was like so easy, I never went, right? And then I just approached him one day. I'm like, yo, look, man, we both need something from each other, man. You know what I'm saying? I need a passing grade. You understand me? I broke him off. And that's how I realized, like, damn, these teachers is broke as shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like,
Taking bribes.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? He was driving like a 97 Civic. Like, I had a better car than this man.
Right.
Like, I was...
There's just
know
there's
what I
something
mean?
wrong with that. You know
me,
what I
me
mean?
and Cash started the same day. That motherfucker, like, I remember the first day, I called this nigga. I said, yo, how's class? He's like, nigga, I ain't never going back to this shit again, dog. Right? And that was it. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of these teachers, they doing it because it's a job.
It's a check.
It's a job.
They have
Right.
to collect.
Right.
And
right.
summer's off.
And not even like a good check, neither.
No, but it's
Unless-
summer's
yeah.
off.
Right.
Summers,
Right.
holidays.
Summers, holidays, you
Sick
get
days.
a couple weeks off. You can be call out sick, no questions asked. They
Right.
just send somebody else to do your job. That's like, but think about it, like how skilled can you possibly be if they could send a random person to do your job?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's not, and that's not like, I feel like also this is not to say that every teacher is like that, because I feel like even in my career at all levels of schooling, I think everybody can say that they had a teacher that said something or impacted them in some way that resonated with them forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But every person also, like, I'm sure you could tell me the teacher that harassed you more than anybody else. You'll know his name for the rest of your life.
Oh, for sure.
I will, you will, everybody will. You know what I mean? Mr. Mulcairns. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he's terrible. He told me that I would amount to nothing, and, you know, I continue
Miss Terry.
to prove
I'll
him
never
wrong.
forget that crazy bitch.
You know what I mean? I remember I posted a picture on because he's not on any social platforms, but he's got a Twitter. So I posted a picture with $20,000 on Twitter and tagged him in it and told him to go fuck himself.
Oh,
and I
nice.
promise you he saw
That's
it.
hard.
Like, he had to have. You know what I mean? Like, he had to have saw it.
That's hard. I
Because
like
he
that.
really, like, because I used to, like, just be talking to my friends in class or whatever, like the little
Yeah.
group that I had or whatever. And that's what I'm saying. It's not like I was class clown, speaking of what we were saying earlier. Or I may do my homework late and you know, try. I'm a hustler. I'm a negotiator. If I do the homework late, you need something from me. I need something from you. What do you need from me for you to give me an extension on this? And obviously, you know, when I'm 16, I'm not thinking about that game gets old. I'm playing the game really well, but I'm not changing the strategy. You know what I mean? So he's getting sick of it. And then eventually he's just telling me, he goes off on this field that if I keep it up with this attitude, I'm not going to amount to anything and da-da-da-da-da. And if anything, my attitude has gotten worse. But
I think I'm the only one that can say I've never had a teacher who says some crazy shit like that to me.
really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a male thing. It's probably, honestly, because realistically, I don't think I ever saw a female get yelled at by a teacher before.
You know,
Nah, I got yelled at. I just didn't have no one to talk about. You
That's
going
North Attleboro
nowhere
High,
with
too.
your life.
I've never had a teacher tell me that I wouldn't amount to nothing, but like, you always know when it's implied what they think of you. I remember my chemistry teacher one year, I forget her name, because I didn't hate her, but she was just like, I'm a very like extroverted person. Like
Right.
I love to talk. I like attention. I like fucking, you know what I mean? I like a crowd. I like entertaining
You
people.
feed off of that.
Right. And she you know, and I loved chemistry, right? Like I fucking stole the triple beam from the science building and shit. Shout out to science building at OB. And she was like, Charles, the school year's over, you know, and this is great because I know I'll never see you again in my class. And I said, damn, like, I didn't even hate your class like that. Like, right. You know what I mean? But I am a dickhead, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I remember one time we was making some shit. It was like strawberry DNA or some shit. And it looked like jizz. And I said that shit out loud. I was like, damn, that shit look like jizz. Right? And she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, she literally said that. She just looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I mean, it looks like jizz. She's like, get the fuck out of my class. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
go wait in the hallway.
Right, yeah. But, yeah, I was that kid. But, all right, we're going off in tangents now, right?
But that's what this is all about.
Right, so.
That's what makes it entertaining.
You started off as, like, one of the top photographers out there, right? And
so
then,
right.
And then how did that branch off into, you know, what seemingly became your story, right? So,
right.
So, yeah. So, let's go from there.
Perfect. So.
That was, like, what, 2016, 2017?
15 into 16. All so, right. I ended up, you're familiar with the Met in Pawtucket, Rhode Island? So, I was at the Met, Rich the Kid's first tour. I was there for Rich the Kid. I wasn't there because of him, but I knew the promoter, and, you know, I get myself anywhere. So right. I got myself into the back, and I just saw this guy in the back. I'd never seen him before, and his chain just said Fat Boy Gang. So I didn't know what that was. So I Googled it, and then he came up, and then I looked him up on Instagram. He had like 700,000 followers at the time, and after that, I looked, and I'm going and looking at his profile. I don't see a single professional photo. Like not a single one. And the ones that are up there are like, you know, when you go to an event and there's like those photographers that like they're all great people, but they send you the work and it's never postable. Right, you know what I mean? Right. And they may have tried however hard, but that's not their fault. But they just mocked the editor, mocked the focus, whatever the case may be. But
like Trickstar, right? Remember Trickstar?
No,
you remember Trickstar? You remember Trickstar? Yeah. What the fuck happened to Trickstar? Anyway, we can go ahead.
No, but he right. So I see the photo. I see no photos. So after the show, I approached him. I asked him for his phone number, and I said, hey, you know, whenever you're out here, I'll reach out to you, and I'll, you know, work for free. Just want to, you know, be out and about with whatever you got going on. So that was the end of it. You know what I mean? Probably for however, I don't know how long. It's been a while. So there was 3 times that he came out, 1, 2, and 3, and I worked for free and did the shit every time for 3.
So we're talking about Fat Boy SSC.
Correct.
Yes.
So he's getting booked in Providence because Providence loves people from New York, New Jersey.
Correct.
It's just like clubs go crazy for him. So we were going back and forth. The 3rd time, I had him actually staying in the Holiday Inn in North Attleboro because obviously I was not glitz and glamour at that point. So, you know, that was 4 minutes from my house. I live behind Emerald Square Mall. That's right there. Okay. You know what I mean? So we had him in there and we're leaving, and he said to me, he said, hey, like, I don't know what you're doing, but if you want, you can come with us. We're going to probably go to New Jersey for 2 days and then go to Atlanta for a week. And I was like, at this point, I'm still enrolled in college. I have a job at, what's the blue sneaker store? Finish Line?
Yes, I believe.
So I have a job at Finish Line. I got this college. My parents thinking I'm coming home for dinner that night because I went home for the weekend. Right. Because I'm still dorming and going back and forth. So I'm home for the weekend. They're thinking I'm going to come back for clothes. And then, you know, I looked at Jeremy, and I thought I was going to, we were going to drive and go to New Jersey, and then we just weren't going to go to Atlanta. And then he was like, at that point, he kind of, because he's always had other family commitments that I haven't had just because of things that have gone on in his life. Right. So he wasn't able to drop it all the way that I was, and he needed his degree more than I needed mine. And I didn't really need mine. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I didn't want to be there at that point. He wanted to be there. Right. And so I kind of looked at him. He was kind of like, I mean, if you really want to. And I looked at him. I was like, no, you know, you could, you know, stay back. I was like, and I'm going to go. And that was it. And I never, I haven't stayed at my parents' house since. Like, I haven't slept there since that day.
How old were you then?
Probably 18.
18 years old.
Crazy.
So that's wild, right?
Oh, yeah. I dropped out. I didn't even drop out. Like, I just stopped going to class. I had a whole dorm of shit. I just stopped going to class. I didn't go back. And what happened, though, is when I say I didn't sleep in my parents' house for up until this point, that's not to say that I didn't go back home. But I would used to go back to the dorm and I would go to the dorm just to like change, shower, sleep for one night. And then I would have the group of people that I'm staying with right now up in Salem. They used to live in Malden. It's just another close friend of mine. And I would go there and I would stay there in between when he would call. And I cut myself off from my parents. I left my job. I was too prideful to ask them to help me out. So I'm living in this guy's basement on a futon like this that folds out.
Wow.
Just by choice. You know what I mean? Cannot eat unless his mom makes something. As fortunately his mom passed, but his mom would make us. It was like my mom for years. That was the only way that I would eat. The only way that I would get laundry was her.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
shout out to her, man.
Yeah, shout out to Jerry.
Some random
yeah, she really
white boy,
if Jerry was essential in the process, it would not.
Oh no, he was
possible.
white too.
Yeah, no, Jerry was the mom,
okay.
and then Joe was the son.
Okay.
But he was supposed to come yesterday, but he flaked because he fucking lays bricks all day. Too tired. But anyway, where were we? We were on the
wait. You started working with Fat Boy,
right? So all right, we'll go. Yeah, because we were probably on a tangent somewhere else. But do you remember where we were? No. So we'll just go back. So we're working with him. We're going on the road. Oh, we're going back and forth to Malden. So I'm going back and forth to Malden and going back. So we go to Atlanta, right? We go to Atlanta. We go to Fetty Wap's house. Yeah. First stop. This is where we're staying for 2 weeks.
Oh, whoa.
Where did you think I was staying?
Patterson.
Floor.
On the floor.
Atlanta. On the floor.
Roaches.
No, nice house.
Roaches.
Fetty is rich. You know
at this point he was.
It's 2015. It's Trap Queen. He still has a ton of money. Don't get me wrong.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, I didn't know, like, whether.
Oh yeah, no, he was. This was at the peak. Like he took. I watched him take like 4 jets. Like he was leaving and we were there.
Wow.
Like it was that type of like shit. We were just there, and it was a Sprinter van of us.
Okay.
And he just opened his house to us in Atlanta on some block, just not a block that we were supposed to be on, causing that much problems. Riding ATVs.
Walk us through those experiences, man. Like, so now you just. Random kid from North Attleboro, right? Now you around stars. You around, and at this point, Fetty Wap's A-list. Right?
Oh yeah, so, A-list.
He's A+ list. You know what I'm saying? He's like one of the biggest rappers
Kids' Choice
in the
Awards,
world. You know what I mean? You around all of this shit. Like, what was that like?
I don't like.
How much pussy was you getting?
None, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't play the game right, my boy.
No, honestly, you want to know what I'll tell? There was this.
Please explain.
We went to a house party while we were out there.
How did you fumble that bag?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how
Logan.
I fumbled it in Atlanta. So
Jesus
I didn't even fumble it. So we were in Atlanta. We went to a house party.
That was the craziest fumble, my nigga. You look.
Wait till you hear what happened. Wait till you hear what happened.
Super Bowl game.
Hold on.
Wide eyes in your hands. You dropped the shit.
Just wait.
Okay.
So we go to a house party with Fetty Wap and everybody. Right. A house party. Everybody's there. It's probably 400 people in this massive mansion. But by mansion,
Bitches.
It was the biggest. It was on the. I've seen a lot of homes. It was on the. I've been in Calabasas to French Montana's house and all that. Like really deep up in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Master P's house. Like
shit.
I've been in Master P's house. That's just. We'll get to that later.
So
it's like literally seeing this house. To get to the house, there was a bridge like that looked like it was like on the Hogwarts castle. Like just to get to the house, the whole thing was made of stone. It was a moat around the house.
There was a moat.
Yeah, you had to get a bridge to get into the house.
Was there hippos in the moat?
No, nothing in the moat. Just it was the moat was like it was too dark to see to the bottom of it. So anyway, we go to the house party and me and Fetty Wap's right hand man, this guy Rolak.
Yeah.
Me and him go with these 2 girls to go bring them back to the house, and he asked them to stop at McDonald's, and we're in the McDonald's drive-thru, and these are 2 white girls,
and they're like, "I want to have a dick sucking contest right now."
No, they're like, "We want to get some McDonald's, then go to the house." He asked if he should expose himself in the back of the car.
Wow!
And then they dropped us off.
Wait, so
and that was the only and then other than that, it was 24/7 work. That was my only opportunity that whole trip,
bro.
And
you know what my motto used to be?
He has to expose
when
himself.
I was younger. When in doubt, whip it out.
No, he failed. That wouldn't have worked. That would have failed him that night. It almost did. They would have called the police.
Nah,
they would have called the police for sure.
Fetty's right hand man. It can't be. You a black man. You fumbled the bag like that with white girls.
Maybe I don't know what he looked like.
No, he's a real life
women,
like.
will do whatever when they're around celebrities. I'm telling you
This
this
is
because
true.
I hang out with Fritz.
Right.
And you talk about young girls, 21, 22, 23, who are with the football players, and they're only with him because he's around football players, basketball players. But they don't necessarily, it's not for him. They're
They don't
for
really
the
give a
team.
fuck. They with the shits.
Yeah. And they're literally with the shits. I'm just standing there like, I'm not part of them. Please don't talk to me. I'm just here because the liquor's free.
Yeah.
But they fumbled that.
All right. So you got like, all right. So what that tells me about you is that your tunnel vision is crazy.
No,
Yeah.
honestly,
Because you have like pussy galore.
no.
around you.
Here's what it is, right? Well, like we were talking about earlier before we started up, I was at my peak. Like, this is awesome, life is awesome, but nothing about my financial status had changed. I was not being paid, but I was happy with it. You know what I mean? Like, looking back, I wouldn't
internship.
Like, I wouldn't exactly. I dropped out of Nichols College and went to
You feel like
music
you was working
college.
for Puff, nigga.
No, yeah, literally, like at that point, like I really did. You know what I mean? And I talked to Puff before about music business with him before, so it all comes full circle. But
He
it's
was
like
don't pay your employees.
yeah, I was fine. You know what I mean? I was good. I was fine at this point, but I had no financial situation to the point where I couldn't even get, like, I'm talking about no bank account. Like, I left my debit card at an ATM taking my last $20 out. Like, the guys were joking, talking about it's my last $20. Why do I need the card? And they just sped off at the ATM. Like, that's the type of jokes that people play.
You didn't
I mean, they're
overdraft?
not wrong, though.
If
that account just closed.
if I knew I had $20 left, I would have overdrafted crazy. As much as
I didn't, but you got to realize this is my first experience with
Right.
not having money.
Right,
so
right.
I don't know what overdraft is.
Yeah, I grew up broke. So.
You know what I mean? So I had
I've known what
to
overdrafts
put
are
myself
since I
through
was, like,
that.
5.
You know
You
what
don't know
I
what
mean?
overdrafts are?
No, I've known since
I
I
thought
was
you
like
said.
5.
I'm like,
No,
damn,
yeah.
Yeah,
God bless you.
I taught myself what those were by choice because I felt like I felt like if I didn't go through that experience and having $0 and not being able to literally do anything except for work, I don't think that I would be as successful as I am today if I had a bunch of money at that time and I was spending it tricking. You know what I mean? Like, I think one of the reasons why is that I was so tenacious is that we would take photos at the concert and the artist would have the photos in an hour. Like, I'm editing Jeremy drives and I'm editing in the passenger seat.
Wow.
Like, that's like and that's the type of time I was on. And I don't even like just me, I've only slept with 3 women. You know what I mean? Like,
Ever?
I'm not
In life?
ever. I'm not not into that.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Not in like
No, in my whole
1
life.
week. Oh,
In my whole life. And she's one of them.
wow, good. Your mom,
It's like, I don't-
clap it up for my man, dog.
I don't
This nigga's different.
I don't do that.
This nigga
You
is.
know what I mean?
You.
You got
Wow.
you got a diamond right there because that's unheard of. He's a unicorn. That's a unicorn.
I just don't know what's like for me. But I also, my goal is to be like we were saying earlier, Forbes on Forbes. That
Yeah.
I'm not going to get there playing around in the club, chasing women. I'm going to get there by spending every minute of my life. Like I was with a group of people here, and I left a barbecue full of people to come and do this.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it doesn't matter what the occasion is. I will drop anything
to work.
to come do something that's going to progress myself because I know right now I'm 25 years old. I don't need to go on vacation. Like we talk all the time like, oh, when can we go on vacation? I don't feel comfortable spending for me to vacation, it would have to be extravagant.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not going to spend for me to spend $10,000 on a vacation. I would have to be making millions of dollars a year to feel justified to spend that amount of money and then and it's not really about the money. It's more so I don't feel like I could take myself away from my business the way it is right now for the 7 to 10 days that I would like to vacation. And I don't think it would be doing her a disservice to go on vacation and be in my phone the entire time. Because I don't know if we did like a screen time check.
Different, Jim.
Nah, he
Like
is.
this is a
because
9 hour a day screen time on my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not a normal
It's not a game.
existence.
He's different. And I was just thinking as he's saying all this is why white people are rich because Motherfuckers on vacation all the time.
I
I
think
was
it's
on a
just a white
4-month
people thing.
vacation.
No,
the Dominican Republic.
determination
I
thing
spent like
because-
$20,000.
Yeah, we know. That's why you only drop
living
one
my best
episode.
life.
Yeah.
No, because I have friends of all races that live the same way that I do. You know.
So that's what I was about to say.
Like,
I don't think it's a white thing.
No.
I think it's a you thing because I know white boys who blow money.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like I know good white boys who like get the bag and they spend it just as fast as they get it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think
I don't know them. That's why I said it.
I also think that influence and how you were raised also plays a factor into that.
Yeah,
as well.
I thank my parents, and I had a really tough time, and I regret that. And I again thank her for bringing me back to my parents. You know what I mean? Because I was just so angry that they didn't support. And I just talked about this with my dad when I was here 2 days ago, and they didn't support my decision to do this, but I didn't understand the gravity of like North Attleboro. What does a 45-year-old white man from North Attleboro think about the rap industry?
Right.
Tupac, Biggie, you know what I mean? So he's just concerned with my safety, and I never knew that he was. I thought that he thought I was incapable of being successful all these years, but what he thought is that I was risking my life for something that wasn't like success wasn't worth. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, like I've been in some just like you have some situations where it might not necessarily have been a gun pointed at me, but it could have been one wrong move, and I've been pulled over in a car. I got pulled over in a car with 7 people in it, an AK-47, 2 pistols, and 4 pints of lean in the back. I had to go to the precinct and everything. You know what I mean? And it's like at the end of the day,
Were you the only white person in the car?
no, the driver was white too, and the driver's the one that went down.
The person who keeps these white people in these cars, they small.
Yeah,
You have to be the liaison between them and the police.
I was the liaison for on the road. I was the liaison for. You want to know You want to hear the craziest liaison story? This is top 5 stories ever. So,
Come on,
so
let's
we're
get it.
driving through Texas on tour.
Oh,
right?
Texas.
No, yeah, Texas.
Oh God, the reddest state in America.
This one's bad, and it's not even police. Right, so I'll leave you with that to ponder while I tell the rest of the story. So we're driving through Texas. We're on tour. No, I wish. We're on tour, and on tour, you get pretty much every city you go to is a new batch of free stuff. You know what I mean? Because every city has people that make merch, people that sell weed, people that do nightlife, people that rent cars. Yep, everything.
All of that.
There's really efficient. There's cities where there's one person that's like really efficient that has it all.
Everybody.
You know what I mean?
I know a guy.
Exactly. I know a guy.
I know a few guys.
Exactly. Like that strike me as I think if somebody came to town, I think they could probably ask you for anything and you could point them in the right direction.
I know a guy.
Exactly. So anyway, so we're driving through. So we have about probably a pound of free weed on the van collectively.
Okay.
And fun fact about Texas, the border patrol checkpoints aren't just when you cross.
Wow.
So when you drive through the Texas highways, they have random border patrol stops where they check for illegals and narcotics. So the van pulls up, everybody's asleep except for Jeremy. Jeremy's driving the van.
Okay.
Because Jeremy had to rent the van.
Okay.
Because Fat's business wasn't set up properly, so he couldn't rent the van.
Right.
And his managers, none of them could rent the van. None of them wanted to rent the van because they knew that if the van got screwed up, he wasn't going to pay for it. So we had to get Jeremy to do it because he could get the insurance in his name, and he was going to drive it the entire time.
Got to keep your white friends around.
Me and Jeremy drove the van. Oh, that's the other thing too. Just to speak on dedication, I tour managed and drove that entire tour.
Wow.
Like I was the tour manager on this tour, and I also drove about 8 hours a day.
He went from his photographer
to his full-time manager.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so now he's tapping me like, "Yo, wake up." I sit up. I think I'm in like a dream. You know what I mean? I see he's rolling the window down. Passport.
Chelsea looked like she heard this story before. She's fucking she's dying
asking for
over
the passport. Next thing you know, the side door gets pulled open to the Sprinter. Dog all up in the van. Dog alerted for concealed persons and narcotics. Pulled to the side of the road. Oh, it gives me chills talking about it. Pulled to the side of the road. Everybody out of the van. People start calling their moms. Mom, I'm going to jail.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. This shit was crazy.
God.
So they pull us out. They start going through the van. Pulling out jar, just looking at it and tossing it. Dog comes out. Shut all the doors. All right, you guys can go on your way.
They just tossed the weed.
I think no, they tossed it in, like picked it up and tossed it to another part of the van.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
What were they
on
looking
some
for?
like
Illegals.
Mexican
and
people.
narcotics.
Oh, it was like, don't none of you
Illegals.
motherfuckers look like Mexicans.
Everybody had to get the passport and ID out though. Best believe everybody.
Wow.
Identify yourself. You know that video?
We all in the Sprinter?
Yeah, yeah. No, we were in the Ford Transit.
Oh, it was a Ford Transit.
But it was a
Broke
van.
man Sprinter. Yeah.
15
Yeah.
passenger.
Yeah.
Full.
Oh, God.
Full.
Well, what?
Well, I ride passenger though. That's the best experience in life.
That's
though.
the best, like, I'm so glad I'm not Mexican moment.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
That
like-
was pretty bad. And honestly, to this day, I think that somebody from the Border Patrol checkpoint was hip and was like, "Yo, they're on tour." Just like,
just let him be.
you know what I mean? Like they probably seen him. Like, man,
Oh, that's Fat Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I let him go.
Oh, wow. That's
I don't
crazy.
think had that he had not been on the van, I don't think that would have gone like that.
So, all right. So, let's redirect.
That was
this,
the
right?
third tour, by the way.
Okay. So, what do you think the biggest moment for you working with Fat Boy SSC was?
I would say that tour because that was the first tour. So we had done Fetty Wap's tour, we had done YFN Lucci's tour. That was the first tour that I like we had an album and a tour, and I put together everything for the album and the tour. And when I mean everything, I mean I got the cover art, I picked the artist, I did the art design, I picked the track list, I got every single track mixed and then mastered.
Okay.
I got all the producer agreements, which take weeks each one, going back and forth with all these people. It was like a 2-month long project. I put together a 20-something city tour. I put together this entire project, and I did it all with no assistance.
Wow.
No assistance but Google University. And you want to know what sucks is that, you know, there's a phrase that my dad always taught me that if you can't get in there, you know, lie your way in there. You know what I mean? Like if you need to fake it till you make it just to get yourself in the door. So I told him I knew how to do all this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he probably doesn't even know that I just told him that. But I told him that I knew how to do all this already. And then I just, here it all is. Figure it out.
You're figuring it
Here's
out.
I got Ghazi and the guy Tef from Empire, the top two over there, calling me, asking me what's going on with his shit, using terms I've never even heard of.
Wow.
I'm just taking notes, writing shit down, and I had to become a master. And I would say that experience turned me into a master at what we've done because it was everything. We had feature clearances. We had a feature that we put on there with little TJ that got stripped down because we didn't get it cleared right because I made a mistake. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I didn't make a mistake. I believed his manager when he told me to post it anyway. You know what I mean? And that's now I know that they all say post it anyway because they know they're just not gonna answer the phone after that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He got the verse for free, which is why I don't know why they didn't just clear it. But I guess it was Columbia that didn't want it down. But I don't know. But that was a great experience. Obviously, there's other experiences, like I'm saying, like Master P's house, you know what I mean? Like, you know, talking to Diddy and shit like that. Like, you know, I've met everybody. Ed Sheeran, DJ Khaled, like, that's all fun, but that's the glamour. You know what I mean?
What's Diddy like in person?
I didn't meet him in person. I talked to him over the phone. Yeah.
But you've met Master P because you was at his
Oh,
crib.
yeah.
What's he like?
He is a devout businessman.
Yeah.
Do not come in between him and his business.
Yeah.
And he is in everything.
I can see it.
And I like the way the Master P does it too, because he's like just a throw darts at the wall type of guy. But he's got so much money that he can put enough
he could fuck up the
fuel
bag
in
and
each
not care.
dart.
Right.
You know what I mean? That everyone's got a pretty, like, people forget that Master P is Rap Snacks. Some
Right.
people don't know that.
Right,
Some
right,
people do.
Rap Snacks.
You know what I mean? And like that's a whole other. Rap Snacks has its own celebrity collaborations. That's its own
Correct.
thing. Then
Fetty
he's got
Wap guy's own
No
shit
Limit.
too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
He's got No Limit. You know what I mean? The movies. You know, and everything. And he's a wicked smart individual.
Okay, so let's fast forward. You had this relationship with Fat Boy.
Yep.
Right? What happened with that?
So everything kind of came to an end towards I don't know what, probably 2000 when the pandemic happened. Like when it first, and I know everybody talks about pandemic, but when everything first happened, and like when the first case of COVID came to Los Angeles and Kobe died, it was the same weekend. Same thing happened, because I remember sitting in a living room at the guy Raptor's house, talking about, looking at the thing, going, man, this shit ain't about nothing. This shit ain't gonna fuck nothing up. You know what I mean?
Boy, were you wrong.
Oh yeah, I ate my words. Usually my long-term predictions are pretty good, but I was not.
Everybody was
Way
wrong.
off.
I predicted that they would just forget about vaccines, though, and that, you know what I mean. But I don't want to get this shadow banned.
Right.
But either way, so we were in Los Angeles when that happened, and then I was on a personal business trip. This is when he already moved out there. with the wife that he has now and everything. He was out there, and I was starting to do my own thing, but I was still working with him. But because his business was slowing down, just because that's, influencers and celebrities go through a cycle, you know what I mean? And he was on a down cycle, so I wasn't making as much money, so I was doing other things, you know what I mean? And not quite music things. I was doing not quite a job, not quite music things, similar to your route.
Right.
So I was kind of into that for a little bit, and I was going back and forth to Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Right.
And I feel like it kind of made him uncomfortable that I wasn't willing to move to Los Angeles with him and not only leave everything that like I just built in New Jersey for these 3 years, like, and just go to another state and do it all over again and live with him again and be living in his house. Cause I was living with him up to this point. At that point, I'm living in his house, you know what I mean? But he's not there. He's just in Los Angeles, and he, I guess, wasn't paying the rent, and he didn't tell anybody, you know what I mean? But they didn't come after me for it. We knew the landlord. He's a wicked nice guy. So he's like an influencer landlord. So it was one of those like handshake agreements. So I went out to San Francisco to work on these 2 tracks. They brought like a writer in and a producer because the Ghazi wanted him to do this, like the what do you call it? The More Than Friends. What's the Bismarcky remix? So they brought in like a friend. Right. They brought in a team for all that, and we were out there. And I remember I had a conversation with him because I was getting paid a 10% commission instead of a 20% commission in order to work for him and live in his house.
You hear that, motherfuckers? This man was taking a pay cut because he saw the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. Because I knew, or I thought,
niggas could never. You cheap, you fucking greedy motherfuckers, man. Take notes. Keep going. My fault.
No, you're good. So basically, I had a conversation with him. It's time for me to move out. Were we already in the shithole? I think I was already in the shithole at this point.
Shithole.
Yeah. So the shithole was, anybody can look it up. 264 Harrison Street, Patterson, New Jersey. Shithole. Like,
anywhere in Patterson.
Oh yeah, look it up.
It's terrible.
I was in there for 13 months. I
told you Patterson's the only place that I've ever seen an abandoned project.
It was in an attic. Literally, like an attic on a side street. And like the day before I moved, they just shot a random car. You know what I mean? For no reason.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, I had no business being there. But when it came to the point where he said like, yeah, you got to go. You know what I mean? So that was really, actually, I missed a step. So we did his Empire deal over again before this happened, and he had a sizable advance. I'm not going to get into the numbers because I'm going to tell the story without airing his business out. So we had a sizable advance that we had worked out with Empire. No, I'm not going to do that. We worked with Empire. I had a 10% cut of that I needed to use to move into a new apartment. And I'll never forget, this is when I really started to look at him in a different light. When I had his email logged in on my phone to get his emails because he had given it to me one night to go answer some emails, and he told me to keep it on there in case I ever needed anything, his flight confirmations, whatever the case may be. So he's not realizing his flight confirmation is in my email, and it's for tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And him and I met at the bank. COVID's jumping, so the bank drive-through line inside is not open. So the bank drive-through line, you remember that weird phase where they weren't letting anybody inside anywhere?
Right.
Drive-through was around the corner. He gets out of the car tweaking. I got to go. I got to do something. Let's just do this tomorrow. I don't leave until 12. And in my mind, I'm like, I didn't say anything. I was like, no. No, I need it now. Like, I need to go give your landlord, your influencer friend, $1,800 to move in. You know what I mean? Like, I need that. I need to buy furniture, and I need some to have for the next couple of months. You know what I mean? The house was $900 a month. It was a shithole. So anyway, that's when I really started to be like, damn, like, you was really gonna leave me out here knowing that you type helped me get into the spot. He told me to, Lucci told me, that's his name. He told me that Fat told him to put me in whatever spot he had, like, not to bother looking for anything nice, just put me anywhere. Wow. So like, he type helped me, but hurt me at the same time because of where I ended up. So he knows that I have to give this man the money. I don't know if he was just thinking that he was going to call Lucci and say he doesn't need to pay him or whatever, but this is where it turns into like, this is where I think it clicked for me, where I was like, this is my life. You know what I mean? And
not for me.
And he's playing with my livelihood. Like, I don't know if he thinks that I could theoretically have gone back to North Attleboro, but no, like, that's not what I wanted to do. That wasn't the plan. That was not the plan. Right. You know what I mean? So now flash forward, now I've been in this new house, you know what I mean? A couple of months, we're in San Francisco. I said, hey, listen, I would like to get a 20% commission instead of a 10% commission. He says that I owed him $63,000 for rent for the house that we lived in previously. And
wow.
In that house, the room looked like this. It was unfinished. It looked shitty. You know what I mean? It had a slanted ceiling. This
is a nice set.
No window. No, this is. Would you live here? Would you lay your head and sleep here every night?
This couch is all right.
No, you wouldn't. Stop. To be losing thousands of dollars a month on that commission, you know what I mean.
I get it.
Like, this isn't a living situation. Obviously, I love the studio. But sometimes I say things like that can be misconstrued. Hopefully that doesn't
Kateria, he doesn't mean it.
No, of course not. But it's like, at the end of the day, it looked like a studio. It didn't look like a house. You know what I mean? And that's where the room, I would value it at $300 a month. We stayed there for 14 months.
Wow.
He charged me for the whole house rent, or attempted to. And keep in mind, the Sizable Empire Advance, all these other deals that we had done over the course of the 2 years that I was on this 10% was way more than $63,000 in losses. Over 3 years, I was averaging like 10, 20K a year, which is sad, but that's what I was doing at the time. And it's like,
yeah, that's like.
So I go to him and he's like,
that's crackhead wages.
Yeah, no, it was not good. So he,
I know crackheads that got more money than you.
Yeah, seriously. Begging. Everybody around me had more money than me.
And they spent it all on crack.
She was a college student and she had more money than me.
That's terrible.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and she didn't know that though.
At what point, obviously that would make changes, but at what point did you say, all right, not only is it time for me to go, but it's time for me to grow?
Right. And I think this is when everything turned, is when he was like, all right, sounds good. Like, you know, I told him I wasn't going to work after the 63,000 thing. I told him I wasn't going to work. I said, it's fine. He hits me with the no, you know, it's more than just you're like family. You know, you've helped me so much, da-da-da-da-da. Of course, I'm going to still send you the business and the 20%'s fine. And then I never heard from him again. And it took me like 2 months to get to that point. And she was the one that woke me up, because I would sulk.
Every man needs a good woman. She
no,
brought
they
him
really
back
do.
to his family.
You know what I mean?
And she got him out his brain.
Shout out to Wifey, man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Man. You know what I'm saying? We got a round of applause for her, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you.
Absolutely. So I was
good Hispanic
sulking.
women
yes.
in this world. We all need them.
Absolutely.
You know Shout out my queen, too. You know what I'm saying? You heard?
Can't live without him. But so it took me like 2 months of thinking that he was gonna send stuff, and I'm not gonna lie to you, 2 months of like I was fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was over. I didn't think I'd be able to do anything. I thought, who's gonna take me seriously now that I don't have him? And it's like it was a long time until one day she was like, literally, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, how long is this gonna go on? Like,
don't be a bitch.
Like, what are we, like? I was looking at Amazon positions, because my backup plan before, I don't have a backup plan anymore, but my backup plan before was to go to Amazon, and because I could climb the corporate ladder.
Reliable.
Amazon, I could warehouse manage in 4 years.
It's always
guaranteed.
there.
You know what I mean? You know the corporate ladder. It's not.
You can always find.
You get up there.
You don't need to go ahead.
You know what I mean? But still, I was in a mental state where I didn't think I could do anything. You know what I mean? So
I feel like you were very dependent on him.
No, I was, and that was my mistake.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest mistake. I would do it all over again, except I would have started Untitled Export Management way earlier. I would have been servicing clients. I would have been having conversations. I would have been giving my knowledge to people a lot earlier, as soon as I had it, you know what I mean, instead of now. And I wouldn't have had that 2 month off period.
He was your funnel. Like, you just gave everything
exactly,
to him.
Exactly.
Right.
And I got nothing in return except
a lot
for
of that
experience.
was because you were also very young. You said you
at
lived at 18. You didn't even know how to manage
18,
your own
19,
debit
20.
card.
No.
Yeah.
Right. You ain't even overdraft. You noble motherfucker, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
exactly.
Fuck Bank of America.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Citizens.
Whatever.
Nah, Citizens was terrible.
Yep.
Citizens always been a shitty ass bank, though.
I hated Citizens. It was in Stop and Shop. Maybe it feels so whack to have to go bank and Stop and Shop. But like,
that's some real Attleboro shit.
No.
That's some real Attleboro shit
so
right there, my boy.
The one in Malden has one too.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
So
the one in Malden.
That was where Jerry and Joe lived in Malden.
I live in Malden.
You know where the Walgreens and Revere Cinemas is?
Yes.
They
knocked it down. The
you know the
down.
Speedway?
Yeah.
So he lived right behind the Speedway. You used to walk from his house to the Speedway and harass the guy Zacharias that works over there. He's got a weird name on his name tag, Zacharias. We always used to call him by his name. We used to get so mad.
Shout out Zacharias.
But no, so, I finally woke up one day and I was like, all right, I got to do something. Like, and I started like selling like $15 story posts and like $25 consultation calls. And I probably sold like 20 of them, you know what I mean, in my existence. And then, I got on them, and then the person would reach back out to me and they would be like, all right, now what? And I would be like, well, I think we should do another consultation call. You know what I mean? And I was thinking like, Well, in my head now, I didn't even have whiteboards in the room yet. You know what I mean? So now I'm hanging the whiteboards up, getting all that started up, and I'm thinking like, all right, what is next? After I figure out where their situation is, and that's I think where I got the core function from our business, that it always pretty much starts with a free consultation call to figure out what you need, so that way we can better serve you. So I used to use that. Now I'd be like, all right, now I know what this person wants. Now I need to, they just told me, they made it extremely easy for me to know what they want, because artists are very direct with their expectations.
Absolutely.
Now all I need to do is make it all happen. Right. So I started plugging through the resources that I had from Empire, and I've done a lot of different business with like the Orchard, 300, Atlantic. I've been around a lot of different places. I've been a part of 7 successful label negotiations before that I've negotiated with like the 2 lawyers that I work with. Shout out Bob Celestin. Bob Celestin is like, any law, anything. I don't know if he's like hireable by like the public, but like Bob Celestin is crazy. Like,
shout out Bob.
That's the only lawyer. He did my deal with Vidya. It's the only lawyer I'll do anything with ever.
Okay.
He's also XXX as a state lawyer, so that's why he's so like up there.
Okay.
Fetty Wap, 6ix9ine, pretty much everybody designer. He like half manages designer.
Wow.
But he's a fun individual, nice guy.
I would love to meet him.
He's really energetic. For somebody that like had a couple songs, like he's okay with the fact that like he had a couple songs. He loves making music. He's energetic. He enjoys it. He doesn't care if he has a hit, if it doesn't hit. Like just a friendly guy. You know what I mean? And I respect that a lot, because a lot of people have trouble moving on. You know what I mean? That's why I have a lot of respect for like Yo Gotti, because Yo Gotti like went straight businessman.
Right.
He realized that rapping was only going to get him so far, and in order to get to that next step, you need a business, because you're not going to get to 100 million a year off rapping.
Rap is the platform.
Exactly.
You create the brand with the rap.
Exactly.
And then you move into the real big boy business. Yeah. So with all that being said, right, you moved on, you started Untitled Export, right? What exactly is Untitled Export?
Untitled Export is a digital marketing agency, to put it simply.
Okay. And what was your initial goal with starting that?
So originally I wanted to have like a consulting firm. I wanted to come in. I didn't really want to be too involved with the artists, because I was just scarred from my experience. I didn't want to get too involved with them, because I didn't want to tie down to any one person. But the goal, I don't know why I was so tripped up on that, because the goal was always to have a massive conglomerate. I just didn't know that yet. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I wanted to have a massive conglomerate. All that shit happened, and then I knew I wanted to have a massive conglomerate again. You know what I mean? So I wanted to have, I started with the consultation, and then I realized like this could be so much more. Like, I see all these other opportunities where these people are calling me and telling me on the consultation calls, I just gave this person $5,000 and they took it from me. I just gave this person 200. The views are fake. I just gave this person 600. The views disappeared. I just gave this person 600. The video's 2 weeks behind. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case may be, I'm just seeing like, damn, like there's a real lack of like Amazon style business in the music industry. And by Amazon style business, you can bet the house on your next day package getting there the next day.
Oh, absolutely.
You can bet the house on it. 7 days a week.
Every time.
You can bet the house on my promotion hitting every single time. You can't bet the house on anybody else.
Okay.
Because everybody else doesn't have the same attention to the detail and care that I do. So there's a lot of people that do good work, don't get me wrong, but nobody puts the amount of we don't do vacations. I was in the office making content on 4th of July. You know what I mean? So it's like it doesn't stop. You know what I mean? It's 7 days a week. So, and I don't think that, honestly, and I tell her this all the time, I'm not normal. Like, it's not normal to not have
want to spend.
Right. You know, it's not
what is
normal.
Wrong with
oh, no,
you,
I
Logan?
love to spend. I'll go to the Capitol Grill and have a $400 dinner.
You dress nice. You know
oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like
don't
last
get me
night
wrong.
when you was at the event, you was dressed really well. What kind of shirt is that?
Just Express.
Express. I mean, you dress. You know what I'm surprised about? I'm surprised that you're not like super fit.
Really?
Typically, people with your like crazy knack of work.
Yeah,
ethic
they really
be in the gym.
The fitness is like the next. But you want to know what it is about the gym? I feel like it's the
muscles.
biggest pissing contest on the world.
It is,
and I can't participate.
Right.
I just can't put myself in an environment where everybody's there to impress other people.
That's fair.
Like, I feel like like obviously health is wealth. If I had health problems and I needed to change the way that I looked or the way that I the way that I felt, or I would go to the gym and
you'd look like Flo Rida.
The only reason that I would be going to the gym would be if I wanted to look better. And the only reason that I would want to, I don't know why people lie to themselves. People want to look better for other people's perception. People that say, I want to look good for me. You want to look good. What is, you see you however you see you.
Nah, that's
it's about what other people, I debate this with her all the time.
Maybe
Gina,
that's a female thing. Cause
yeah, it might be.
I go to the gym, and I go to the gym because I want to look good. Because when I put on my pants, I want my ass to look good. When I put on a crop top, I want to look good in my crop top.
That's what she says.
I want to make sure that my high heels, I'm not breaking high heels because I weigh too much for them skinny ass heels. Stiletto
so
style
I feel like
shit.
for the men, would you say them for the men, like the meatheads that's in there? You know what I mean?
The meatheads are definitely, it's a pissing contest.
You know what I
used
mean?
to hit the gym, but I never got.
I did too when I was in high school.
I never got meathead status, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was in there because I wanted to. Because I was like,
you weren't lifting enough.
Nah, I looked like I was on roids at one point. You know what I mean? The arms is all big and shit. You know what I mean? But I wanted that jail body. You know what I'm saying? That's some real Mattapan shit.
Of course.
I just wanted to look like I did fucking 12 upstate. You heard?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, nigga, I'll do fucking 100 pull-ups on this light post right now. You heard? You know what I'm saying? I want to look like that, but. I've been with the same woman since I was 18.
Yeah, if I'm going to the gym, it's to make myself more appealing to women, and that's the same type of person that spends all their time in the gym, in my opinion. And this obviously blanket statements don't apply to everybody. There's outliers everywhere, but at the end of the day, I would say a vast majority of males in the gym, are there to impress other women in a rat race.
I used to go to the gym with my wife.
Yeah, that's wholesome.
And she has the super athletic body and shit. She's all slim and slender, dancer body and shit. Motherfuckers looking at her the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm huge out here, nigga. Stop looking at my bitch. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But yeah, whatever. I digress. But
yeah, the gym is. I just feel like I could better. I would rather use that hour to better my business than better myself.
All right, that's fair.
Because the business, for me, it's I'm gonna be fine. You know what I mean? I don't need, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I enjoy, I like, glass water. I eat only at Whole Foods for grocery shopping. I'm not living in the slums and saying that I save every penny that I make. But I make sure that I eat
only
very well. Oh, you know what I mean? And
would you go to Trader Joe's?
My vice. No, I think Trader Joe's is just all frozen, pre-made. I feel like it's fake healthy.
Trader Joe's got this fire ass hot sauce.
I'm one of those people that likes, Whole Foods. I'm
right. Yeah, I'm all over. If I cook, it's only organic.
I don't only shop at Whole Foods because that shit would break my bank.
I mean, honestly though, I feel like for us two to eat 5 nights, it's about $120 to $130 for 5 nights of full groceries with 2 sides, salad, and about $25, $30 of that is just the water that I drink.
This nigga really went to accounting school. This nigga got the whole budget.
I could tell you anything.
You ain't fucking around. No. Yo, you are amazing, Logan.
I try my best. That's one of my biggest downfalls though, is that it doesn't. Is that in some situations, it's awesome to, not to go dismal, but it's awesome to sit here and say how dope that is. But there's situations where I can't turn it off. Right. You know what I mean? I can't think about going to Target to get some groceries without doing it in the absolute. It's because I was in you were actually in the military. I was in a youth program, not JROTC, an actual youth program where they sent you out for 2 weeks to go do an actual recruit training.
Advanced Boy Scouts.
Right. It was called the Sea Cadets. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but they did stuff with the, I remember I went to, what's the base in San Francisco? You know what it's called? The Marine base out there.
In where?
San Francisco.
I don't know.
I went there when I was.
I know we had one in San Diego and we have one in Pendleton.
San Diego. Sorry.
MCRD San Diego.
Yeah, so I went there and did intelligence training with actual Marine people when I was 14, and that's where I feel because they were really, that was before where the anti-bullying and everything and all that really came into effect. So that was still when they weren't hazing us, but that was still when they would yell at the kids and everything, and they
were hazing
stopped
the shit out of us.
They're supposed to.
You guys, they do that.
It builds mental fortitude,
right? And I feel like that's where I got that.
Boot camp, it was a 3-month boot camp.
Yeah,
it is the longest boot camp of all military. Services.
You cried?
The first month I cried. I wasn't used to it. I'm the only person
really
that has ever the only person that has ever yelled at me at that point in my life was my mother. Now you got and I was obviously a female, so I'm on the female side. 5 women just
and they're
at
intimidating.
You
Military
with these
women are intimidating.
like super hard hats because the covers are very thin but very hard. Just like pecking at your forehead, bitch, get down. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
No.
No, I remember there was this one time. I'll tell a quick boot camp story. So I remember one time we were out there.
The men had it worse.
That was fun though. It was
no way to keep.
Fun. It was hard, but I had fun. I was 14, so like I remember one time we you know how you had to obviously like there's some things that'll be the same, some things won't. So you had to keep the barracks. You had to keep the barracks neat and orderly. You had to make sure that the racks, the footlockers, all that was 100% squared away. Hospital corners, the whole 9 yards. We used the same handbook. We just did it in a smaller scale. So I remember one of the kids that just, because there was half kids that were sent there. Like I was sent there because my parents thought I had behavioral issues because I talked back to them a lot. Right. So that was their rebuttal, was to send me to this program. And there was kids that were there because they were like getting into drugs, beating their parents up. So like there was some questionable youth.
Wow.
You know what
That's
I mean?
Some real white shit.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't black, was it?
No, some of them was. Some of them was, yeah.
They didn't die?
They were in white areas though. So they were raised white.
There it goes.
You know what I mean?
There it goes.
But
thanks, Logan.
No, but anyway, so one of them didn't want to make his bed. So
R.I.P. Chiz, nigga. That's what would have happened.
They sent us out for the morning run, like 6 in the morning. We came back in. They stacked all the mattresses for all the beds in front of the door, took all the sheets, bundled them all up, tied them all together, and like wrapped them around all the rafters and shit. Dumped out everybody's locker, took shaving cream and stabbed the shaving cream can with a screwdriver and threw it in there.
They didn't take laundry detergent and
lit.
throw it everywhere?
No,
they did that to us. It's called the hurricane for the
females. That's what they called it.
They destroyed the whole squad bay, took all of the detergent, because we would buy detergent. We get paid during boot camp. We get like an allowance, and we would buy our detergent to wash our own whites. We would send out our uniforms, but our whites would stay. And when I tell you, they took all the detergent and just straight, like the squad bay is very, very long. Just everybody's detergent was everywhere.
The disrespect.
Everywhere. They're like, now clean it up.
That's lit.
I know. It was for me, 14, it was a world shock. They used to make us do watch and everything at like, you know, all like from 0 to 0400, like all 24 hours, they make us walk around.
So with all that being said about you, man, like I feel like, you know, your end goal is to be the first Forbes on the Forbes list.
30 out of 30 is what I'm going for.
Right? 30 under 30.
Yep.
You have like a very like, you know, like, and this is like very parallel with an episode we had recently with my man Exit Fame, like
is there more water?
Triumph over tragedy thing. Yeah, it should be in that actually downstairs. My fault. You got she got you.
Best.
I mean, she always got you, bro. She's just fucking. I mean, shout out to Chelsea one more time, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I mean, thug wife. You know what I'm saying?
She better than me. I would have let you go get that shit by yourself.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I'm kidding.
These new chicks, they different. You know what I'm saying? They different. But either way, triumph over tragedy is kind of like your thing.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of make it out of, you know, tough situations, and you do it with a smile on your face, and you do it with like real pure intent. Like you, everything. I feel like everything you do is purely intentional.
Oh yeah,
bro. Like there's no miscalculation with you, right?
No.
Walk us like through that. Like, do you feel like it just had to do with your upbringing, or do you feel like it was something you learned over time?
I would say it had to do with, it was half upbringing, because honestly, it's 3 parts. It's the military program, did that for 4 years. Every other Sunday for 4 years, I would go to U.S. Coast Guard Boston base, right on the Seaport District. I would go over there every other Sunday, and then in the summer and in the winter, on my winter break, like this is where it started. Like I didn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Like my winter break, ship me to fucking Maine. I've been to Virginia. I went to boot camp in Virginia, and then I was this is the triumph, and this is like the everything is set out. When I was at that boot camp, I told myself, I'm going to come back here and do what they're doing. I'm going to come flip some people's shit up because I got my shit flipped up. And next thing you know, 2 years later on my winter break, I'm down in Virginia. Now I'm playing that role. You know what I mean? It was a great time. So it's 1/3 that. It's 1/3. My dad was an electrician, self-employed contractor, just man in the van for a long time.
Shout out Mr. Forbes.
Absolutely. Glenn. Big Glenn. So,
yeah, Big Glenn.
2 N's. So, you know, hearing him negotiate his deals in and hearing he's a very calculated individual, and I get a lot of it from him because the schemes that he would set out like on these jobs and the way he would map out, like he would take a skeleton of a house and like plan out where every last staple was going to go and where the wires were. And it was like seeing how, and the thing is he always used to tell me, it was like, you have 2 choices. Like you could just go about it, right? Or you could take the extra hour or day or whatever and map it out, and then you don't have to do it twice. He always used to say when he was growing up,
twice.
if there's one thing I hate, it's doing things twice. And he would literally like, everybody's like, you've seen the TikToks, or I don't know if you're on TikTok, but there's TikToks where it's like, oh, your dad at work, and it's like the audio where he's, oh, you stupid bitch, like, and it's you, oh, hand me this tool or whatever. Like that's really how it would be. He'd screw something up and it would be this rage that I've never seen, and then he'd fix the problem and he'd be back to normal. And then
my dad's like that. My dad's a construction worker. He's like that.
You know what I mean?
My stepdad's a master technician, carpenter. Like, I mean, super handy man. Like, R.I.P. to that man, Bobby. But Bobby taught me so many valuable lessons as far as it was always measure twice, cut once. Right? He was like, and you know, with Haitians, they talk down to their kids like crazy. Like, you can't do that. And when they say that to us, it's motivating. It's like, motherfucker, I can't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, watch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm lit. Don't you ever fucking tell me I can't do this shit again. Because I'm going to do this shit and I'm going to do it better than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, I mean, so I get that.
Absolutely. And I think that it was just seeing him kind of the way that he did business was another third. And then the third pillar was seeing exactly how bad the streets could get. I think, and being able to understand, you know, Master P's house down to dirty Newark and Patterson. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's good parts of Newark, obviously, but like there's bad parts, projects and everything. So to be in both environments, I think in order to truly be successful, you have to be able to resonate with somebody in any circumstance. It doesn't, you have to, there's an ass for every seat. If you don't have an ass for every seat, they're going to go sit somewhere else. And they're going to go bring their friends to sit with them because there's more seats for more asses. And the less seats you have, that's why people that like charge for consultation fees and have all package minimums, it's like you're literally just eliminating seats that customers could be sitting in. But I don't want to give away any trade secrets. But anyway, it's like, let them charge. Let them get their, you know,
get that money, baby.
Get that money. Some people do it as a deposit for the services, which I think is very good. Like, shout out my man David down in Florida. He does it as a deposit for the services, which is, he's the only one that I know that does that. So that's fire. But, and kind of just understanding exactly how bad it gets for people, to know not only how bad some people want it, but also see how bad some people will go and ruin their own lives. Like, until you've truly seen, like, I've probably sadly seen 30 people self-destruct.
Wow.
Like, and I mean self-destruct to the point, even I've had prodigies that have completely self-destructed.
Wow.
I've had, it's never family. Like, it's all just people in this industry. I've watched people, I watched a poor kid from New Jersey get shot over an iPhone.
Wow.
Because I didn't watch with my eyes. He got shot over an iPhone by an artist from New Jersey's brother. You know what I mean? And it's like that, seeing that somebody will literally find my iPhone down and shoot somebody. And it's like also seeing that, you know, Master P lives in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, where the grass is green, is like, it really green helps you. Oh yeah. It's like green, you know, the grass is
the greenest.
The grass is gray. You know what I mean over there. This is green grass. And it's like being able to see both sides, I think, is something that's been really, really pivotal in this entire process, because I'd like to say that there's situations obviously that I haven't been through, but there's no situation that I haven't either met somebody close that's been through. Like, everything. You could name a situation and I either have somebody right here that's went through it, I've went through it, or I've helped somebody get through it. And it's like, just having all that experience, I think some people use that to help others, and some people use it, like I've been wanting to use my platform to help people out and give people advice and tell people things that a lot of people like that are in my position, like, because I would, and this is like, I would consider myself an elite. You know what I mean? Like an elite male. You know what I mean? And that's not. Yeah. You're an elite male. You're an elite male, a high value man. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And that.
That's my man Kevin Simmons.
Right. Yeah. And people like us don't oftentimes teach people how to be like us. Yeah. And a lot of the times people use the position to scam and to cheat and do dishonest things.
I was one of the earliest scammers. Nigga, what? You shitting me? I was scamming in high school. Niggas ain't even, but they look at me crazy, but whatever. Shout out to Miss Terry. Fuck you. Anyway, keep going. But
absolutely. All right, but so no, I think that's very just that would be the answer. Is all of those experiences taught me just how to deal with anything. I feel like. Okay,
Jeannie, you got any other questions? I've been talking a lot.
I have been thinking about your app and how it can. Is it, local artist friendly?
And my app?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my app is just like United Masters. You can download it. You can distribute your music on it. You can distribute singles, not albums, much like United Masters. But mine has extra functions where you can kind of learn more about the industry. Right now we have 4 modules up. We're going to be adding to those soon with different pieces of content. Kind of like what I'm doing on Instagram, but kind of like a more exclusive version on the app. The app is free to download, free to use. There are certain features that are unlocked, obviously, with a paid subscription. And we're actually going to be having an update that's going to come out sometime before the end of the year. That's kind of going to bring on a whole new other feature that I think is going to be very exciting for people.
Awesome. I like that. You guys were, the day I came to see your live podcast,
yes,
talking about how the younger generation either doesn't have it or doesn't want to go get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
If the app is accessible,
absolutely,
there's no reason why your music shouldn't be out there.
Absolutely.
Tap in with Untitled Export, man. It's on Apple, with the Apple Store.
Apple Store only.
Google, Apple Store only? So you Androidians.
No, here's why.
Okay.
Right. Android apps are very buggy. Android has a lot of different phones.
Yes.
If there's one thing in common with people that have Androids, it's that majority of them don't have the newest one. Yes. You know what I mean? So to have an app that's going to function on all those different platforms would have been a nightmare of testing and everything, whereas the iPhone, it's only like 8 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can calibrate it to all 8 of them. My app will work on any phone, I think, from an SE and up. So like from I think an SE/8 and up, mine will be good to go. I think even a 7 might even rock it. You know what I mean? 6. It's technically not good enough for any other platform, but in the store it automates it and says.
You know what I've always said about Apple? I used to be an Android guy. Right?
Really?
And then I was a part of a company that was beta testing an app.
Yeah.
And it was only. It wasn't only available on Apple, but it was just fully functional on Apple, right? Apple just has more support, right? Because before anything else, Apple built this huge infrastructure,
absolutely,
right? And I think that's really what kind of sets them apart from Android, because, and like you said, Android has multiple, vendors. Like they have Samsung, they have HTC, they have LG, they have all these different brands, whereas Apple's just centralized and it's just one funnel. Right?
Absolutely,
it's not like multiple things. And I used to be an HTC guy. I used to live and die by HTC.
Really?
Until HTC stopped.
I had a Thunderbolt 4, I want to say.
That was a good phone. I used to be in the phone business before I was in the car business, right? So I used to be a store manager at T-Mobile.
Nice.
And I remember the launch of the iPhone on T-Mobile. That's when I made the most money in the phone business, because we went from a $30K a month in revenue store to $90K a month in revenue.
Yeah.
And I looked like the man, all because of the iPhone.
Right.
I was 23
Steve Jobs.
years old.
Shout out
I was
Steve
23
Jobs.
years old, bro. And I was the number 3 guy in the district.
Wow.
Yeah, it was lit. And we was in the hood. And we had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I really started respecting Apple. I was like, all right, to see what they did, and they disrupted this whole market.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I live and die by them now.
Yep.
Phone, laptop, fucking,
they make
tablet,
it
all of that. You know what I'm saying?
They make it too easy. And they really, you want to know the problem they solved is they really made it all too easy to use all your devices at once. And I think that's the secret, want that nobody knew they wanted. You know what I mean? Nobody knew, I don't know how advanced you get with that, but you can copy and paste from your phone to your computer. You can do a lot of shit.
Bro,
from your
when
phone
you
to your
first got
computer,
here,
like,
you saw I was transferring something to iCloud, like
from
my phone to my laptop,
you know what I mean?
to my hard drive.
Didn't know if you was the personal one handling it, and if you had a guy for that.
I do all of this.
But no, copy and paste onto the shit. There's like even the fact that you can have your photo library synced, so every one of them, like I can access like my laptop is folded up downstairs, not even like on right now, and I can go on here and access every file on there.
Right,
you know what I mean? And that's what I feel like that's what they didn't realize people needed. You know what I mean?
Streamlined.
Exactly. They knew what they were doing, but we weren't ready for it.
Right. So with Untitled Export, man, what are the biggest benefits for artists to tap in with Untitled Export?
Honest business.
Distribution.
Honest business, I would say, is the biggest one. For me to sit here and list off the things that we can do, I would be here all night. It would be more than an entire episode, because it's really, with us, it's not about what we can do. It's about what the artist wants to do. So for example, like all of our campaigns are custom built for each artist. I don't use price lists. You know what I mean? So I don't just, when an artist inquires with us, I don't just send them back like an automated text with a list of prices and everything. Like I said, we start every relationship off by asking the artist, like, what do you want to improve on this year? What are you working on? What have you released? We dive into the music. We really look stuff up. We go the extra mile, and we see all my sales agents. That's why I was saying they're so great, is because they go the extra mile and they'll look at their YouTube and see, all right, they got 20, 30K in their video. They're probably already running ads. Let's go to their Instagram. We see something lacking there. We're going to talk about Instagram on the call. You know what I mean? They see something, they go Google you, they can't find you. That's what we're going to talk about. You know what I mean? And then usually by leading an artist through those prompts and asking them kind of, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Even some people that might not know what they want will always be able to figure out not only what you want for what's going to make you look the best, but also what's going to give you the most bang for your buck time over time. You know what I mean? So like some people, like I'm sure you've seen the infamous Times Square billboard. Yeah. You know what I mean? The $1,200, $200, depending on the day, $2,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? Different guy, different price above USS Polo. Like some people love paying for that. And like I'm the type of guy, like I have the connection to get it for a very low price, and I've never sold it to anybody. Because number one, the price that I would sell it for would disrupt everybody to the point where nobody would want to get it from anybody but me. Wow. And then number two, I like it doesn't do anything for them. You know what I mean? Like I could make a fortune selling that thing, but like at the end of the day, some artists are going to like it. Some artists are smart enough to realize that it didn't do anything for them, and the picture isn't worth the $800 that it costs, the $400, whatever it is. You know what I mean? A picture, I don't think a picture on Instagram is worth any amount of money, considering how cool of a post you can make for $0.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I have some clients too that I tell that to, and they'll be like, "Nah, bro, I need the picture," and I'll tell them they got to go somewhere else.
Do you know still
what
do
I mean?
Photography?
Not up until the last 2 weeks, but the last 2 weeks I have been doing the content creation to kind of, you know, put myself more out there. Because I think one of the fallbacks that I had up until recently is that I knew how hard I was working on everything that I was doing, and I knew the amount of effort that I was putting into it. I knew how much I was doing, but nobody else did. So there's people that will comment and message back to my things like, "Wow, I didn't know you went to the office every day." And it's like, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck did you think I was doing? You know what I mean? But it's like, to somebody that thinks that people in my position just fucking sit on their thumbs all day, it's like, you wouldn't think that I would be in an office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, working on people's music. Right. You know what I mean? Like there's enough shit for me to do, for me to spend 9 to 5 in the office. I don't do anything else. I go to the office 9 to 5. We have team calls in the morning. We have training calls in the afternoon. We have calls with clients. I take lunch from 12 to 1. I do not get disturbed from 12 to 1. But other than that, catch me from usually anywhere from sometimes 8. But you catch me from 9 to 12 and then 1 to 5. Always something to do.
Who's the most exciting artist that you're working with right now?
Honestly, it was Paco.
OG Paco?
Yeah. That was my most exciting project. We had a lot of fun.
What are the allegations against him right now?
Unfortunately, murder case.
Yeah. Free niggas.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about it, but in my line of work, I like to stay on the music. So, you know, we're gonna, me and his team have some plans to get some stuff out there over the next couple of months. But I've been working with them since Grizzly record. I had actually crazy story with that. So I have a good relationship with the VP at 300. This guy named Salim. His Instagram is like unauthorized. Shout out Salim, great man. You know what I mean? Family man.
Right.
And it's like, I reached out to him.
I don't know him personally, by the way.
I don't know. I know him working relationship. I've never been to his house either.
I don't want people to be like, "Oh, this nigga Chisno Salim." I don't know him.
I've met with him over 6 times, I would say, which is a lot for a VP to sit down with me for no reason. Like I never anytime I hit him up, like he'll take it. You know what I mean? Anytime I've reached out to him, even if it was for something that I thought was stupid, I invited him to my studio opening party knowing he probably wasn't going to come, but he responded saying to send it to his email and he would add it to his calendar.
That's fine.
He didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like when I called to bring an artist in there, I've brought 3 artists to sit down with him. You know what I mean? So that's another thing too, is that artists don't realize like that's a call that I could make, but that's not a call that I'll make for anybody, because if I bring you to Salim and you're not ready for Salim, it's like I'm going to lose my relationship with Salim. You know what I mean? Exactly. I got to make sure that we preserve that contact, because I'm not going to bring a time waster up there. Yeah. But anyway, so I actually got that record. I don't know. Do you know anything about like the record clearing process?
Yes.
So I got the record cleared with 300 in under 3 days.
Okay.
With Bob Celestin.
That's fire.
Go.
Bob. Shout out Bob.
Bob still has an open invoice for that. You gotta let me pay that for you. You still have to send it to me.
Shout out Bob.
Bob is a great guy. He doesn't even hound about the payment.
Bob is my middle name.
Is it really?
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, Bob. Man.
Strong name. Shout out Bob.
But yeah, so that just, getting that record cleared, and then we did the marketing strategy for it, and then there's something big coming. I don't want to put too much out about it, but there's a big video that we did in Los Angeles with a crazy theme, a crazy song that we got something coming with soon. But
okay.
He didn't do anything, so that'll be fine.
Gina, you got something?
Yeah, that was the most exciting artist I was working with. I think
so
just
give us 2 other names besides those.
There's just so many of them. You know what I mean?
Who's your
So it's like my favorite charismatically.
Yes,
I would say is this guy from Florida. His name is Baby J. I've been working with him for probably like 7 years. He was like one of the first artists that I ever took a photo for. And he's from Florida, and I was talking about him yesterday at the event. He's the reason he's up on and I hate picking favorites. None of these people are my favorites. I'm going to give you what I gave you as my
politically correct.
Here's what we're going to do. My most exciting project, my most driven artist, and the artist that I had the most fun with. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
So the most determined artist, like I said, Baby J. He spends every waking moment of his free time going out and meeting people in public, passing out business cards to the point where you know how people pay to chart on the iTunes charts?
Yeah.
He really got on the iTunes charts by selling songs. Like something like 1,200 downloads, which isn't a lot. You know what I mean? To be number 5 on the iTunes charts, it's not that many.
It's not.
But that's a lot for he didn't spend any money. All he spent was his time. So he is the most driven artist that I've ever seen. He's never given up. He's always asking good questions, always coming back, and always just being like, I went on a whole tour with him. He brought me on as a tour manager to do a quick 6-city tour. We did Ohio. I've done like 9 tours. You know what I mean? He's been on one of them. And it's like, he's by far the most driven. And then the artist that I had the most fun with by far had to have been this guy, Big Obzuded. From York, Pennsylvania.
Obzuded?
Yeah, he was 16 when I met him.
He
was a different type of talented. We would take him to the studio. I remember we went on a trip, this infamous trip to Atlanta, one of the funnest trips I've ever been on. And I think the reason why it was so fun was because it was my first trip, like my first real road trip in a van since the last tour that I had been on. So I rented a van and everything. We got him and 8 of his friends. And keep in mind, this is like a high school field trip because all of them are 16, 17.
Yeah.
We got one of their like legal guardians on the bus on the van with us. But on top of that, they're also bringing fire down to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like 16, 17. It's just crazy. You know what I mean?
Crazy energy.
Right. Yeah. Crazy energy. Just limited energy. So we go to the studio. We got there 12 a.m. After we leave at 12 p.m., like 11, 12 from my studio in New Jersey. Hit the studio straight. Death Star Studios. Great place. A key to the keys. Fire engineer. And we went there and we worked from 12 to 6.
Wow.
Right. And he was like, all of his mans was slumped in the studio, dead, knocked out in the van.
But he was working.
He was I was starting to lose it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like I get up at 7, you know what I mean? So I was already like, that's 24. You know what I mean? That's where I got to kind of call it a night. You know what I mean? I don't like to go past that. So anyway, so he was just like, I think we did 4 or 5 songs in that first session. We brought him to one of his first performances down in Atlanta. And, you know, I want to use this as an example. And I've talked to him a lot, is that one of the biggest things that him and I talked to was getting out of the streets and everything. And and, you know, moving on from that type of a lifestyle and getting into, you know, other things and taking the music more seriously and everything. And unfortunately, you know, probably a month ago, he was shot and paralyzed from the neck down. And now it's like, you know, we have to start over with everything. You know what I mean? We have all this music that we recorded. We have all these plans, and I'm just glad that he's still here. And we're going to continue to work with him. He took some time to get himself together. He's back, ready to drop. He actually just reached out to me to come up to the studio, and, you know, he's somebody that just has, you know, great charisma and energy. And I think that he's going to go on to, honestly, you know, the plans that I have for him are honestly to go on to be like just an example of why that life isn't worth it. You know what I mean? And you're an example of that. You know what I mean?
So it gets to a point where it's like, what do you want to do? Right?
Exactly.
And I really latched onto that idea. I seen I believe it was a Jim Jones interview like years ago where it was like, you can't do both. Bro.
No.
You can't. You absolutely cannot.
I've seen that same video. It's impossible.
And you have to make a clear-cut decision on who you want to be.
And you can tell in the industry who made that decision and who didn't.
Absolutely.
It's apparent.
You look at Jimmy. Look at Jim Jones, right? Jim Jones is one of the most respected and feared gangsters out of New York.
Yep.
Because of the work that he's put in. But not only that.
But you want to know what, though? Is he's actually like a nice guy, though.
And that's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
And I have this conversation with people all the time. People who do crime doesn't mean they're bad people.
No, and that's I learned that. I learned that lesson because I used to think that.
Right.
And then I had to realize, like, wait a second, like, crime is a way of life. If you choose to have that way of life, that does say something about your risk assessment. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, if that's what you want to do, then that's not your business. You could be a great person that's not on the right risk assessment. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, the moment of my shift of thinking was when my uncle Leo, that's like my dog. Like, I have my father, and then his best friend in the whole wide world is my uncle Leo, his brother. He came to see me when I was in jail, and he said, and I'm gonna say it in his voice, Charlie, you know, I am a pastor, so I hear a lot of people's stories. I know a lot of successful drug dealers. They never get caught. So what are you doing here? I was like, damn. I was like, yo, he's right. I suck at selling drugs because I keep getting caught. And that was the shift for me. I was like, yo, like, honestly, the whole point of doing anything illegal is to not get caught.
Absolutely.
And when he broke it down to me like that, I was like, well, clearly I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
Like, the money doesn't mean anything because I keep ending in these situations where it's like,
you're wasting the money
I'm
making.
spending the money on lawyers. I can't make any money when I'm in jail. What the fuck are we doing now, right? So, yeah, I mean, you got to make that clear-cut decision, man.
Yeah.
You got to make that decision like, all right, well, what are you going to do now? Right? Like, what's next? And I love that, man. And I hate that your man's had to go through that for it to get there. But it's a clear-cut decision now.
Yeah.
So that was the one you had the most fun with. Who was the last one?
That was the last one. Big Op Zooted. That was the one I had.
Big Op Zooted. With a name like that, bro, I mean, you know he was tied in.
Yeah,
like, I mean, like Big Op Zooted. So, I mean, shout out to that man. You know what I mean? Much love. I hope you know what I mean, you recover, you know, to the best of your, you know, abilities, man.
He's doing good. I talked to him. I've seen him and everything. He's doing good.
Yeah. So, what did you want to come up here and talk about, Logan?
Honestly,
we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, I know. I think that we've, you know, I just kind of wanted to have a conversation because this is the first time that I've done an interview in a while.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've done an interview in the form of a natural conversation. Right. A lot of the times, just because of the way that I am, I'll go into an interview knowing what I'm going to talk about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when I released the app, I went on some interviews. You know, when I released a new feature,
Q&A and shit like that.
Right, and I choreographed them all because usually my thing with interviews is I like to partner up with somebody that has little to no platform, but a good mouthpiece for conversation, good setup, and just good heart. And I like to just kind of basically just set up an episode for them and basically just give them, because I'm not, you know, fucking Mark Cuban, but like for somebody that only interviews like their friends and coworkers, like having me on their podcast could bring some light. So I like to, go with people like that and help, use their platform to bring some light to what I'm doing. And basically just because this was before I was doing the content creation, so I needed somebody else to do all the editing. So I basically trade them an edited interview that I would share as my own. And then they would post it up. And then they would post it up. And then I would send everybody to their,
I don't got no doubt
to their link. And that was the thing with the interview. So I wanted to actually do this one because this is the first big interview that I've done. I think you guys are a big platform.
Thank you, bro.
You have me next to the plaque.
Thank
you know what I mean? Boston's biggest.
Thank you, man.
It was only right, that I wanted the next interview that I did. I think it was about time that I touched on a lot of things personally, you know what I mean? Because there's whether there's a 1,000 people that watch this or 10,000, I don't care how many people watch this, because I know that the people that, because the way marketing works is like people are so focused on getting a bunch of views, but I know that the people that I want to value from this are going to watch this and they're going to take away the gems that they're going to take away. They're going to learn something about me that they didn't get to learn because I don't get to have this conversation with everybody, and it's going to give people more ways to connect with me. And I'm sure after this, I would bet the house on it that I will get clients that I had no idea were as invested into my career as they were, that will tell me, oh, wow, like I watched that interview and I didn't know you were into this. I didn't know this. I did this.
Right.
And
that's a hidden gem right there.
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah. I wanted to
plug
come up and kind of just see where the conversation took us and really just tell I wanted to tell all the stories of just, how I've gotten here, the things that have formed me. And I want to touch on, another thing too. One thing that I would like to say is that, everything that happened, because we touched on the thing with Fat Boy earlier, everything that happened with me and him was extremely unfortunate. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't undo any of it.
Right.
I wouldn't go back and not work for the man.
Right.
The man was fine until he moved to California. Right. You know what I mean? I don't know.
He fucks you up a lot of the time.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After that, but he just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just me. It's one of those things. I felt bad about it for a while, and I felt like I owed him a lot. But then when it was like, when I really thought about it, I'm like, wait a second. Like I did the math on how much I lost, and on the deals, because I have every contract I ever did. So I did the math on all the deals that I lost, and I'm like, all right, never mind. So I don't owe him anything financially, and I helped him with a huge part of his career. So I don't owe him anything in that aspect. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't hate him. You know what I mean? I don't. I think it's something that I've had to move past, and I think, it's taken a while to not have, a negative thought about it. You know what I mean? Because
weird animosity.
Right. At the end of the day, he just didn't do it right. And I'm not the only one. Right. Everybody that was in the circle is not in the circle anymore. Right. So I think, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but that's the only thing that I really wanted to say. And the only reason I wanted to say that is because we touched on it earlier. But
and I think with you being such a big part of his life,
right, like his mom and I still communicate.
I'm sure he thinks about that.
Like I've been to his house since then and spoken to his mom. Right. Like his mom knows what happened.
Right.
And it's like at the end of the day, it's not. He knows what he did.
I'm sure he knows about that, bro. So you know what I mean.
He wants to. Whatever.
That's some shit that I'm sure y'all are grown men.
Exactly.
You guys will get over that, and I pray that y'all do, and y'all come to some type of common ground. Right. Whether or not it be financial.
Yeah, never.
But just agreeing as men to just let the past be the past and move on. You know what I mean? So this was great, bro.
I had a great time.
I love this conversation.
I think your story reminds it does. It's not I think. When I was in the military, I got knocked down in ring. Mm-hmm. I got a new boss at the time. He didn't know what had happened to me. I wasn't supposed to get in trouble for the shit that I got in trouble for. And he...
What'd you do? You was twerking on a tank or some shit?
He pulled me into his office and he was like, the only way you're going to get back up is if you have this mentality. And it was, if you want it as much as you want to breathe, you're going to make it. Yeah,
they used to all say that. Like they always used to say that.
Your app for me and for, the conversations that I've had with CWTFB, it's for the younger generation that's coming in, they need to want it as much as they want to breathe. And your app,
I
hopefully your
I
app
can't want it more than they do.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's gonna be as invested in you as
right.
you.
No, I say that all the time.
So hopefully that your app, because it's gonna be so open to the younger generation, they have that mentality that despite their team, no one's gonna want it more than they want it.
The team is only
the tools are there.
Only goes so far.
Yeah,
the team is for outreach. The team is not for relying on. The team is for when they want to help you, take their help. But you cannot expect somebody with their own wife, kids, job, whatever, to put all their effort into you.
Yeah.
And you don't match it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like that. On that same token, I think a lot of it, like there's a phrase that everybody's like, nobody cares, work harder. You know what I mean? Right. It's like at the end of the day, people don't stop and think like if this podcast stops tomorrow, nothing else is going to stop
at all.
Mm-hmm.
If my business goes under tomorrow, the world is not going to feel it. There might be some artists who might be disgruntled for a couple of months, but after that, it's like I haven't built enough of a legacy yet, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to like there's this this is like the biggest joke rapper of all time, but this guy Macklemore. So he's got this song, and it's like, and he says you die twice. Once when they bury you, and the second time, the last time that somebody says your name.
Yeah.
And that's like extremely true. Like somebody like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they're never gonna die. Ever. You know what I mean? Because there's always gonna be like, look at like Andrew Carnegie. Like that dude was huffing steel back in the 1800s, and people still talk about him.
Yeah, all these people.
You know what I mean? So it's like that type of creating that type of legacy is what I want to do, and the only way that you're gonna do that is being an unstoppable force, and it takes giving up everything. And if you're not willing to give up everything, then you need to be working a regular job. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of friends that are on the 9-to-5, and that is cool. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have, not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. And that's what Instagram does to people, is it makes people think that they're comparing people to people that rent Lamborghinis.
Right.
I was going to do a social experiment, and now that I'm going to say this, I'm not going to do it anymore, but I was this close to doing it because I go from California to here. I'm in these places once a year, twice a year. So in California, I know somebody that has a red Urus. Here, I know somebody that has, Kevin with all the exotic cars.
Oh, yeah, I know Kev.
Kevin has...
Shout out Kev, man.
Yeah, shout out Kev. Kevin has a red Urus.
Yeah.
I know somebody in New Jersey that has a red Urus.
He also has a Huracan, right?
He has everything.
Yeah.
I was going to go to Los Angeles and fabricate a video of me purchasing the Urus with a fake piece of paperwork, a fake guy in a suit. I was going to do the whole 9 yards because I saw somebody do it. I saw an influencer. I'm not going to say who it was, but I saw an influencer do it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, people really saying like, congratulations.
Right.
And I'm like,
you
know what I mean? So I was gonna do it. I was gonna take the Urus picture in Los Angeles, take a Urus picture in Boston, just ship my Urus back, take a Urus picture at the studio in New Jersey, just brought the Urus. I could have just asked the guy to come over, and he would have just driven over in there, and I just could have taken a picture and went to the parking lot. Brought the Urus in Jersey, and I would honestly say that I don't think there's a single person that saw that wouldn't believe it. Because that's the sick part about Instagram. And that's why somebody like Mark Zuckerberg created and ruined the world at the same time. Like he created so much opportunity for people, but he ruined the society that was before. Like there was not like all these things that happen nowadays, not to point at any specific events or any specific thing with these social phenomenons and these horrible events. And it's like, this didn't happen before Instagram. You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of it, I think it directly comes from people comparing themselves to unrealistic and non-legitimate, non-real expectations.
Compare their training sessions to people's highlight reels.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you in the gym. But you weren't with me shooting in the gym. No. But you looking at this nigga dunking on everybody.
And you're thinking, damn, why am I not doing that? Like, I can't do anything. And it's like...
When you ain't realized being in the gym is the best place you should be.
Exactly. It's the only place you should be.
Right. I mean, you training. You getting yourself strong. Prepared for real life. So yeah, man, I agree wholeheartedly, man.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know, but it's created so much opportunity. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't have this big of a platform without Instagram. I have no doubt in my mind that I would have been able to pursue a career in whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And
Without
been successful. But I don't know why it's like there's just. For me, it's like I want to be I called it a change agent yesterday, and my mom said it's an agent of change, right? So an agent of change, that's what I want to be, because I really want to like open people's eyes to like the fact that like it's Instagram. Like I've really seen the dark depths of Instagram, and like really seen the efforts that people will go to fabricate something
just to be lit.
I know people that sleep in the car in Los Angeles that make it look like they stay in penthouses. You know what I mean? It's like I went my first Los Angeles trip. I slept in the car. I slept in the car for 2 nights, and then I slept at Lil Peep's house for 2 nights.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it was like that was my first LA experience, and I made it look like I was living the high life. Nobody back home knew I was sleeping in the car for 2 nights. Police knocking on the door. You gentlemen, all right?
Right.
4 of us in a Ford Taurus 02.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My boy TZ in the front. With a QP in the fucking glove compartment.
Hey,
At the time, I'm scared of that. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's legal out there.
Right.
I'm thinking I'm going down with
over.
TZ and Dante, 2 people I just met, and then RE Films.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like wild. The first time we went out there.
You have such an amazing story, bro, and I feel like a lot of people need to tap into you.
This is like 25% of it too, which is the craziest part. Is like there's so many.
We'd be here all night.
Yeah, like I could do this for 8 hours. And like,
and I love interviews like this because, you know, what I mean, like we always try to have like a conversational piece.
Absolutely.
But when people come ready to share their story,
right,
that's what makes it the best.
Right. Like I don't like even yesterday, like I don't know if this is bad or not, but I didn't prepare anything yesterday.
I never prepare.
Like I don't prepare anything. Like I just go.
I have like bullet points.
Like
in my
anytime
mind.
I speak anywhere, I just whatever I think that group of people needs at that time is what they're gonna get, and I'm prepared. You could like if we did like word association, like I'm prepared to speak. I could spit out a sentence about any topic of anything that I work with, and I could spit out an educated sentence about it in front of however many people. You know what I mean?
And that's a gift. Not everybody could do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I'm glad that I have it.
And that's why you're a boss. That's why you're in charge. But you want to ask Cash's famous question? Do you know what Cash's famous question that he always ends the podcast with? She don't even watch my shit.
You're a liar. I do.
She don't watch my shit, man. Yo, Cash, Gina don't know what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But last question we always end it out with. These 5 letters, CWTFB.
Yep.
Choose what the future brings.
Yep.
What does that mean to you?
That means having complete and total control over what is going to happen next.
I like that, man. Complete control of what's going to happen next. And you're the master of your own destiny, man.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. But Logan, this was amazing.
Oh, great time.
I would love to have you back anytime you're in Boston. You have my number, man. You call us. You always welcome here, man. This is Black Culture Through Music.
Absolutely.
But when we have sections that are lit, you know what I mean, we got to talk. You know what's funny, though? Dr. Umar would probably be sitting at me, looking at me like this right now. Because every time that I do an impromptu episode, it's for a white guy.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I don't know why it's like that. The first one was with OT the Real. Shout out OT the Real.
Yep.
And this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
With Logan Forbes.
Absolutely.
He's going to be the first Forbes on Forbes.
Hopefully. That's probably been
it's
one,
gonna
but
happen.
I'm going to be the first 30 for 30 on Forbes.
30-30 Forbes on Forbes.
Yep, 30-30 Forbes on Forbes.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming up here.
Anytime.
And I appreciate you coming here last night for the whole meet and greet, man. Kateria spoke really highly of you.
Oh, and she's a wonderful. She interviewed me at Jam. I was almost at Hot 97, Jam 94.5.
Right.
And we're actually like looking for the footage because I wanted to. I want to take it and put it together with a couple pieces from here, and I want to make a couple pieces before I leave tomorrow of content and make like a. Not a documentary, but like my own little like exactly of like things like me talking the same way that I talk now. Like I would love to see like how I was speaking about myself and what I was saying. I wanted
the evolution
to be doing.
of Logan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to do because I think it's important to show like your story and everything. But if we're gonna do this all night if we keep talking.
I know. Anything you want to end off with, Gina?
No, I got all the info.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
This was great. This was excellent, man. We love you, man. Always welcome
Absolutely.
You're part of the machine militia now, man.
Much appreciated. Happy to be here.
This is CWTFB Radio, man. Episode, what was it? 133?
You said
133? You said 138?
No, you said 133.
That's 133.
That's the route that goes through Canton.
I mean, I'm from Taunton, I guess.
133. Episode 133. I am Charlie Machine. She is Gina with Hidden Gems. We had Logan Forbes in here from Untitled Export. This was amazing. A lot of informational shit. If you motherfuckers is watching this, man, please subscribe to our YouTube. Turn them notifications on, man. Until next week.
If you tuned in until the very end, reach out to one of my sales agents for a 15% off discount on your next package.
You hear that?
Let's see who stuck around.
Let's see how many of you motherfuckers watch this shit to the end.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We love y'all, man. We out of here. Wow.